Hey everybody. So for this video, we're going to talk about the Meninges. And before we do that, just real quick, reminder, if you see in my slideshows blue font with underlining, that typically means there's video associated with it. In this case, there is a 2-minute neuroscience video. It's a channel on YouTube that I highly recommend. I think it's really helpful and it's less than 2 minutes. So I would say watch that first and listen here. That's just me. But with that said, Meninges, 3 parts. There are 3 protective coverings, fibrous coverings, that are going to be used to separate the brain and the spinal cord from the skull and vertebrae. So, in other words, what actually separates our brain from the bone, right? And that's really important to keep in mind. Like, what's actually going on there? And there are 3 fibrous coverings that are going to help do that. The outermost layer is called the dura mater, and this is going to consist of the perosteal layer and then the inner meningeal layer. And within the vertebral canal, the meningeal layer is going to form these dural sheaths. All right, so this is a term that you're going to have to know. And then between the sheath and the surrounding bone is going to lie the epidural space, which many of us are familiar with. Also, some pictures of that later on. But the real purpose, one of the main purposes of the dura mater is to be that connection between the brain and the skull. It's going to adhere directly to the skull. All right, and within the vertebrae, so that way it's connected to the bone. So this is the part that's connected to the bone. The second layer is going to be like the sandwich layer. It's between the dura mater and then that final mater, which we're going to talk about in a second. This is going to connect to both those 2 layers. This is called the arachnoid mater. So this arachnoid mater, like I said, will adhere to the dura mater, and then it's going to send this spider-like extension to the 3rd layer, which is called the pia mater. Images are always nice, so here they are. Right? So, the green, this is going to be the dura mater. This is the part that is going to connect directly to the bone, as well as to that middle layer, which is called the arachnoid mater. Why is there this big blue line that's going through here? And then why is there all these little white little extensions? What am I looking at? This is the arachnoid mater. Specifically, the blue part is the subarachnoid space. So this is going to be below the arachnoid mater, and it's a space, right? What's the space for? It is not filled with air. It is filled with fluid, specifically cerebrospinal fluid. Why is that? For a couple of reasons. One, it allows for cerebrospinal fluid to, as you can see here, really just cover the brain, as well as to create a little bit of a barrier, right? It's going to allow that liquid in there so that it can basically help the brain float a little bit, give a little bit of resistance against any stress in case, you bump your head or something. So it's really important. And that subarachnoid space is where you're going to have connections between the dura mater and the pia mater. That's the white lines. And it kind of looks like a spider web, hence the name. But also allow for that cerebrospinal fluid to move in between. Lastly, what's connected to the arachnoid mater is that final layer, the pia mater, which is red, and it is going to connect from the arachnoid mater directly to the brain. So, 3 parts. Dura mater connects to the bone. Pia mater connects to the brain. And then the arachnoid mater in that subarachnoid space is going to connect the 2 of those mater together. It's like a sandwich. All right? And then allow cerebrospinal fluid to flow within there. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. Feel free to watch those videos, and it'll help because it'll also follow up with some animations. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out.